Welcome to Monkey Chatter. Monkey Chatter is a podcast by three great friends who have different perspectives on all things wellness. So let's jump right into today's topic.
Hey, welcome to Monkey Chatter. This is Michelle, and I'm here with Lara and Amy. And today we're going to talk about bucket lists. So, yeah, we're going to dig into what each of us might have on our bucket list, if we have a bucket list, maybe why we have a bucket list. Do we use our bucket list? And I also wanted to talk about the reverse bucket list, because just like I have a little challenge with goals, I've started to have a bit of a challenge with the whole bucket list thing too. Shocking, I know. So I guess I'll start us off. And the traditional bucket list, right, ladies, is usually just this list of things you want to accomplish before you die, is what most people have on their list. And wasn't there a movie with Jack Nicholson?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yep. And that popped into my head when I was thinking about this topic, because if I remember correctly, and if you guys have any recollection of this, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was a really wealthy guy, and kind of at the end of his life, I don't know if he was, I think he maybe was sick or something, and had this bucket list and I think he hired a guy. Who was that? Was that Denzel Washington, maybe? I don't know.
I gotta look this up
Google
now.
that. Check that out.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It
may
was,
have to watch it now.
yeah,
Yes.
too. But the
We
whole,
should have done that before this.
I know, I didn't think of it until,
Probably.
um, but the whole concept of it was he went and did all these things, and at the end of the day, what was super important was he had a fractured relationship with his daughter, I think, and hadn't seen his grandchild or whatever. It was that kind of storyline. Coming back to, yeah, I accomplished all the things on this really amazing bucket list, right? And that really wasn't what he was after, really,
Didn't
at the
really
end of the
make
day.
him happy or improve his
No.
life or
Yeah, like, it was
It was
great and everything, and one of the things, if I'm remembering it correctly, one of the things I found so kind of, I don't wanna say sad, but made me think was, I think he actually hired somebody to help him achieve his bucket list, and I was like, "My goodness, that's just so sad. Who wants to do bucket list items with, like, somebody who's not a friend or a family member or what,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I don't know.
Well, you know what
Anyway.
I was thinking? I was
Mm.
thinking, God, that would be like a really good career move for somebody. Be like, hey,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
a
just to
bucket
take
list advisor.
Yeah.
yeah.
I will make the plans and accompany you, and then you get to do all these amazingly cool things, all expenses paid.
Yeah. Wouldn't
So
that would be fun. Yeah.
Business
this is
model
it's
there for somebody.
Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, and they
That's
end up
it.
the main plot follows two terminally ill men on their road trip to a wish list of things to do before they kick the bucket.
Yeah.
But it
Oh,
doesn't
so
say
maybe he
anything.
didn't hire him. Maybe they were just like
No,
friends, or they
maybe.
did.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I can't remember. Now I'm gonna have to go watch
Ah,
it again.
yeah. Now I'm gonna have to watch it.
'Cause I do remember I thought it was really a good movie, and it made
Oh,
me really think about bucket lists, and his bucket list was a bucket list in the traditional bucket list thing that we think of, right? Like trips to really cool places and all of that. So,
well, I think it'll be interesting in that we are all three in different decades of life. I would love to know your perspective, Michelle, since you are the
I'm
oldest.
old, yeah.
But you're also,
You're
in
not
that
old.
respect, you're the most accomplished as far as what you've done and seen. And that's what happens as you age. You get more experience and you do and see more things. So like, has that bucket list concept become more important or less important as you've aged?
That's such a great question.
That is a
Um,
really good question.
yeah. Yay, Lara gets a big
I'm
gold
being
star.
the curious monkey now.
Well done. I have to say less, different. And I was really thinking about this because I was always one to have a bucket list, right? Like I
Oh.
always had a big list of, in fact, I've got one right here, make a certain amount of money a year, right? Like this financial goal, fund a cat sanctuary. I don't know if I'm going to ever do
Oh my
that.
gosh, wait, that's an amazing one. I've never
I
heard
know.
anybody have that on their bucket list.
That was on
Yeah.
my bucket list. Learn a foreign language, write a bestseller, travel the world. I mean, all these things. So I have this list from, when was this? I think this was 2009. 2009.
Huh.
So, um,
I love Fund a Cat Sanctuary. I mean,
I
like
know.
travel the world is great,
We
but that
should.
is way too broad. Like it needs to be way more specific in my
Yeah.
I was
opinion.
just like, yeah, I think I want to do that.
Critiquing your bucket list.
Yeah, anyway, so there's all kinds of stuff on there that's still what's interesting to me when I look at that, because I just ran across it because I keep everything and I have piles of paper, right?
You
So
do know.
this was in
And
a pile of paper. Yeah.
in case
Not to a
anybody
previous
missed it, I think
episode.
it's like episode 28,
Oh,
maybe, on
my
clutter.
clutter issues. Yeah. Yeah,
Clutter
well,
control.
but stuff on here that still like teach people to read. Like those kinds of
Hmm.
things are on there too. Um, so it's just interesting what pops up. So there are those kinds of things on that list. But it definitely gets different. And I was, I pay attention to that Modern Elder Academy. I get their
Mm.
newsletter and all of that stuff. And they're really into this whole reframing of retirement, you know? And I just was looking at that the other day too, and one of the things that was on there was where was it? So they had like some bullet points about ways they're reframing retirement and even how they talk about it, right? And one of them was to fully engage with people and causes I care about. So that really struck me as something I want on my bucket list, right? For the remainder of time I have left, I'm like, yeah, I want to like not waste my time on things I don't really care about anymore. So I feel like the bucket list, instead of like checking off go to Egypt, is more about like like what are the people that are important to me that I want to spend time with? And then yeah, go to Egypt with them. That would be cool. Or, whatever the cause is, like fund a cat sanctuary. Well, maybe I don't need to fund a cat sanctuary. I could just spend some time volunteering with some cat people. There's plenty of people doing that already. So anyway, my whole like idea of what a bucket list is, or should be, could be maybe is a better way to put it, is very different now than it was when I was certainly in my 40s. 40s, it was all about like achievement and experiences and that kind of stuff. And I think there's a place for that, right? It really helps you do some cool things. But what I really wanted to mention was Arthur Brooks and his reverse bucket list. Have you guys heard
I
of
have
that?
not heard of
I have
this.
not heard of this until you mentioned it.
So I wasn't quite sure what that meant. And so
Yeah, I was like, what is
I don't know
that?
either. Yeah.
I know, I'm like, what's a reverse bucket list? And I'm still not sure I actually have it quite right in my head. But from what I can gather, he basically says, make your bucket list. And that the problem isn't with the bucket list, it's with the attachment we have to actually doing those things. Um, and so he actually talks about making your bucket list, but then cross the items off before you achieve them. Just cross them off. So it does something to help you um, lose the attachment of having to do that thing. Not that you don't end up doing the thing. Yeah, it's kind of um, a weird way of looking at it. And the one quote that I pulled out of there was, we make the mistake of thinking our satisfaction comes from having more, right?
Yeah,
So
I've heard that
anyway,
before.
yeah. So Google Arthur Brooks and reverse
Arthur
bucket
Brooks.
list, and you can hear him explain it in a way that makes,
Is it
wanting less gives you have more basically divide your haves by your wants. And if you want less, right, you have more satisfaction with the life that you actually have.
it kind of all goes back to something we've talked about many times, which is gratitude.
Yeah.
It's like having the gratitude for what's in front of you and being mindful about where you are in the moment,
Yeah.
bringing
He
you more joy than trying to, reach for things that might be unattainable.
One of the weird things that, and I wrote this down because I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. Strivers, people who the striver's curse is that strivers are most likely to be unhappy later in life.
Wow.
Like the folks who really strive and achieve and check the boxes are the ones who, when they get to that space in their life where you can't achieve in that way, or because you have that arc, right? Like achieve, 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 and then it changes, right? So I just found that fascinating. Anyway, he's an interesting dude, Arthur Brooks, and
Yeah.
you know,
They talk about that. I feel like they talk about that a lot in like professional athletes and stuff. Like, once they
oh
they
yeah,
go and go and go, and then they get to a point where their career starts to decline, and like
who
they
are
have
you?
no idea, like
It's like they
because
can't
that's
recover.
their whole identity. Yeah. Or people that work is their life, like they have no work life balance, and then like they get to retirement and it's like now
Yeah,
what, like because
Yeah.
their self-worth and their identity is so tied up in what they do in their job.
yeah.
Well, that speaks to having diversity in your interests
Mm.
and not making your whole identity about your career, no matter what your career is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard, especially when you're passionate about something, not to make that you, like who you are. So I get it, but as a means to protect, your mental health in the future, you really do need to develop some side interests, I guess. Um,
It's
whether it's like like Amy or Michelle said a few minutes ago, maybe I'll just volunteer at a cat sanctuary, and
mm,
maybe that will lead to fundraising for them, or who knows what. Um, but yeah, and I remember talking about this like after high school, like how we joke about like, oh yeah, they peaked in high school, or kind of, it's all downhill after that. I mean, but you hear that all the time. Yeah, so maybe it's better to achieve to the point where you're achieving for the right reasons,
Mm.
not just to check off all the boxes.
What's on your bucket list, Lara?
yeah.
I don't really have a true bucket list. There is one thing that's maybe kind of on there. Then this is like a shared one with my daughter because we both really want to go to Greece someday.
Mm.
Um, I guess in my younger days, like you, Michelle, it wasn't like a written list, but I had a mental, and it was very different. I'm not even
Right?
like
It's
back
not
then
even, yeah.
I wanted to own a horse farm and like have a business and, like do all that in the horse industry. And now like that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, I still love
Yeah.
horses, but that's not what I want for myself.
Mhm.
Like now it's more gentle, like kind things. Like I want to be able to spend a couple of months maybe in somewhere tropical. So maybe one thing on my bucket list now is like I'd like to spend a month in the worst of the winter in like Belize or
Mm,
Mexico or
yeah.
Florida.
Turks and Caicos. Didn't we just talk about
Turks and
that?
Yeah.
Caicos. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't have like a true bucket list.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I'll have to skydive before I die. Like I don't know. I don't have
Amy
any
did
of the
that.
things
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
I did. Yeah. That was on my bucket
I
list.
would like
Mm.
I think it'd be fun to do if I get the opportunity. I
Highly
would
recommend it.
probably do it. Is it really
Yeah.
cool?
It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not really a good person to ask because I don't like have a true bucket list. It's more like what is going to bring me peace and joy, and like what can I do? And that's more of a day-to-day thing, I guess, anyways. I don't know.
Mm.
So I want to
Yeah.
hear what's on Amy's bucket list,
I
though.
know. I'm like,
Well,
Because
yeah,
you
I
are
don't.
very goal oriented, and I think it would make total sense for you to be like, okay, this is my bucket list, and I really want to hit
Yeah.
these.
So, I again, I was like, it's interesting to hear you talk about like, getting older and bucket list or definition of bucket list changing, because I think mine has definitely shifted. Like, yes, I was actually trying to see if I could find it on my laptop real quick. But shocker, I did have a spreadsheet at one point in time with my bucket list.
Opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, you have your spreadsheet. Michelle's got lists from 20 years ago that are just sitting around her kitchen or whatever, and I've got no list, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I used to want this, now I want that.
Yeah, I would have to look back through like some old files because it's not on this laptop. But yeah. So for a long time, one of the big things was a race in every state. So I wanted to do a half marathon in every state.
Oh yeah, I know you talked about that.
Yeah, so I'm about
you
halfway
did the
there.
Vegas thing. You did the. I remember when
Yeah,
you did
California.
that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I
Yeah.
have about half of them done right now. And then when COVID came, not to bring that up, but that kind of shut that down for a couple of years. So I think I'll hopefully get that back on track. But like certainly skydiving and rock climbing and all of that stuff was on there. But yeah, I think I don't have an active bucket list right now. There's one that's like in the in the what's in the history, not like in like the in the past. Yeah, like in the old files or something.
Yeah.
There's one, in the archives. That's the word I was looking for. Oof.
Yeah.
Words
They
are
just
hard.
don't seem maybe relevant anymore.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely it definitely has shifted some. But I don't know. We'll see. And you guys know this is my year of less, although I'm not sure my definition of less is
That's not
working out
working for you. I think
Yeah, are you doing less? Really?
less
about that.
Slowing down.
But yeah, I think that yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I don't have an active one right now.
So where do and this is for both of you. So like if you had to construct a bucket list right now, if somebody said like, okay, guess what? You have unlimited funding and you don't have to work anymore and you could do whatever you wanted and go wherever you wanted. Where would you go if you just wanted to travel and take a vacation? You could go anywhere you want.
Oh, for the love of a monkey, somewhere warm right now.
I know. We just got done with that ridiculous storm, right?
I'm so done with cold weather and wind right now.
Me too.
No,
do you have some place?
Mine is Greece. Mine is Greece. Like that is the one thing kind of on my actual, if I had an actual bucket list, would be Greece. And I don't know where in Greece, so don't ask. It's just like, the Greece you see in pictures.
That one.
Yeah. That's the one I want to go to.
I really so I definitely want to go see my friend in South America. That I was just talking to her the other day. I need to make that trip. And I find myself as I'm aging, that language just sounds terrible. I find myself just getting more and more fearful of doing things that are out of my comfort zone. And so I'm afraid if I don't do it soon, I will eventually fear myself out of it. So that definitely is on my list to go see her. The other thing I really do want to go do one of those MEA retreats in the one in New Mexico. They have one in Baja, Lara, that's right on the beach.
Oh,
yeah, that's where the original one is.
A little aside, but I recently, and I forgot to tell you guys this, but I had the very good fortune at the last minute to be invited to it was like a Zoom, it was like a webinar, and it was the guy that is head of that.
Oh, Chip Conley.
Yes, Chip Conley. Yes, he was excellent, and it was an hour-long presentation. I took a bunch of screenshots because I thought we should definitely make this a podcast episode
Good.
in the future.
Good.
Yeah, it was really fascinating, and about how basically how you can age and enjoy it more. And and so I guess so I don't want to go digress too much on that, but stay tuned for a future episode. I think we're gonna make that up.
Yeah, that is definitely on my bucket list. I feel like I really like even talking about bucket lists, like the things that they talk about feel more like what I want on my bucket list. Does that, like, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, it's finding things that are more fulfilling. It's not like it's not just thrill seeking,
right,
like you think
or
of.
like it anyway. So what about
I
you?
do still have one that is like a doing type of thing, and I still want to like canter a horse down the beach.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I just want to ride a horse. I don't know why. Like,
That's a bucket list thing.
yeah,
It is.
so wherever we go tropical next year to get out of the
Gotta
cold
ride
weather,
a pony.
I think we need to
Let's
go
find horses and
ride a
on the
horse on the
beach.
beach. Yeah.
I was lucky enough to ride on the beach once, but it wasn't like the actual. Well, I guess it was beach. It was in Galveston in college on a like a trip we all took, crazy trip. But we didn't like get to gallop on the beach. We just like meandered. But
Oh, no,
I
I
do
wanna,
remember
like,
that it was
run.
cool. I want to run too, though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I want to like canter gallop down
Yeah.
the beach.
Like, arms out to the side.
Yeah.
No reins.
Like the Black Stallion movie. Okay. If you haven't seen the movie The Black Stallion, you just watch it for the pure beauty and joy, because there's like a whole 45-minute segment where there's no dialogue, zero dialogue. It's just this boy and this horse on the beach. It's like the best 45 minutes in music history. I mean, movie
Oh, that's
history.
always like music.
Do they sing?
There's music too, I think, but it's the imagery that sticks with me, though, not the music.
So go watch the bucket list and go watch, what was it, the Black Stallion? Yeah, if you need
It's Francis Ford Coppola who directed that movie, and I think he won a lot of awards for that because of it.
Oh, cool.
Boldness at the time.
All right, Aim.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right, so I think the
where's
three
your
monkeys
place?
need to go gallop horses on the beach somewhere.
Yeah, where's the place you want to go, Aim?
I don't know. I don't care.
You don't have a place? You don't have a place you want to go?
No, do you have a bucket list place?
Wait,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, you didn't answer the question.
sorry.
You
got
got off
diverted.
track.
I'm like,
I don't know. We did talk about, I think, Turks and Caicos, and I have no idea. I think it just sounds like a cool place.
It does.
oh, that's right, because we talked about that when we were talking about beaches. Yeah.
Were we also talking about Ibiza?
Oh,
does that mean
yes.
how it's pronounced?
Took
Because
a
I'm
pill in
reading a
Ibiza.
book, and the book is
yeah.
is based in Ibiza, and it's really, I mean, that's another place, but it also sounds like kind of weird. So I don't know if I want, but Turks and Caicos, definitely, let's put that on the list.
Yeah.
Maybe we could combine that with our galloping horses on the beach.
I think so.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay, next
January.
year. Yes, that's the best month to get out of Dodge.
Out of here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. February hasn't been super fun.
I know,
Well,
but I feel like
that's
if you at least get like a, like if you feel like, I feel like if you at least get the reprieve in January, then it's like a little renewed something.
Yeah,
and
then
you come
it's
back
only 1 month of suffering instead of 2 in a row.
No, I live in a very different place than you guys do, man. Like,
That's true. You're way up north.
let me tell you, because this last round, I'm like, what in the name of God?
Maybe you could be a
And
snowbird.
there's still March, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, let's
You
be
could
snowbirds.
be a snowbird. Yeah, go down south somewhere for 3 months out of the year.
I totally want to do
I
that.
think that is a goal of mine someday.
Kind of a
but
bucket list,
Yeah,
item.
it kind of is.
Just the quality of,
Yeah, I feel like I would be healthier. I would be more active. I would eat better.
That's
I'd get
true.
more vitamin D.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to sit on my sad lamp every morning and
Right.
sip my coffee while playing Wordle.
There you go, folks.
I know, I
There's a
should be on
morning
the
routine.
exercise bike reading a book doing that, but instead I'm drinking coffee and playing Wordle.
It's all right. Whatever gets you through the winter.
Yeah, you got to get through it. Okay, well, what else is a bucket list item then? Like, I mean, some people like skydiving is a big one for a lot of people. Scuba diving. I've never been actual scuba diving.
Me either. Don't you
It
have to like
scares me.
train for that? Like you need to
I don't know. I
like
think you
go
can do like a
try it in a
3 hour.
far down.
pool or
You
yeah.
can do like a 3 hour class if you go to the right resort.
I have a friend whose husband does that, like takes people on scuba trips. So if we ever wanted to do that, I'm sure that
Yeah,
could be fun.
that'd be fun. I used to have a little bucket list thing that was not officially, but I wanted to hike part of the Appalachian Trail.
Mm.
I still
Good
kind of
one.
have an interest in that. I just don't know if I have a weird left foot, and I'm not sure how much I could hike. Like, I might be able to hike for 3 or 4 hours, but like 3 or 4 days, I don't know.
Mm.
But there's a really good book
Ooh.
about that. It was based on, I think, a true story about this older man who decides to do it. And I think he brings a friend. What is it about these old men and their bucket list items? How come women don't do
Clara,
that?
if you do that, I'm totally in.
Okay.
I would
But I can't go
totally.
fast like you.
It's
I'm not
okay.
running.
I'm not running.
No running.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you guys have read that? I think it's just called Wild.
Oh,
Wild.
Cheryl Strayed.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the Pacific Northwest Trail or whatever. But that
Yeah.
was really good.
That was a
Like,
good book.
yeah,
Very good. That's a really good book.
yeah.
And then
I'm totally down for that, Clara.
there's another book I read about a woman. And it's not a popular book. It was just like a woman that wrote a book that my mom somehow met her at like a book signing. And it's similar, but she hiked the Appalachian Trail. And I mean, some of it was just brutal, but she did the whole thing too.
Yeah.
And I read it. It was really fascinating. But yeah, I have my aunt's partner lives in Florida, but they have a cabin in Georgia.
Mm.
And he's talked about he really wants to. He's a big hiker too. And he told my sister and I if we ever wanted to go, he would accompany us for a ways.
Ooh.
But
Mm.
you have to take off a lot of time for it too, like
Mm.
work.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe we can kind of hold on to that one.
Yeah. My training buddy, he has talked about like when he retires, the goal is to do like the whole thing. So
Wow. That's a
I
big
was like,
deal.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like, does it go all the way to Maine?
I
Georgia to
know,
Maine?
yeah.
Georgia,
Yeah.
Maine. Mhm. Yeah, it's like
Wow.
2,000 some miles, I think.
It's a
So
yeah.
it's months and months and months worth of
Yeah.
hiking, walking.
Um,
I did do a mini, well, I shouldn't say it's not even that. I got kind of excited about doing something like that a few years ago, and I went to the Sheltowee
Mm.
Trail, which is also in Kentucky. You can catch lots of different trails there, but I think I did 5 miles, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
and you got to get used to like packing weight too.
Mhm.
That's
Like,
true.
Yeah.
'Cause you got to pack everything you need. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a big one.
yeah,
It's a good big goal.
2,190 miles.
Ooh,
Wow. That's a lot.
on foot with a backpack, a big one.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think the logistics of doing that, like trying to figure out like where are your stops and where do you send stuff to,
Yeah,
and
because you have to have people ship or drop stuff off at
Mhm.
little like trail towns we can run in and pick them up, I
Yeah, if I
guess.
was gonna
Yeah.
do that, I would wanna do that with somebody like Amy who's got a
Yeah, me
really good
too.
got a
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
Yes, let me tell you,
I got a
that you
spreadsheet for
want
that.
on that team. You want her on your team when
Yes,
you're doing
you
that
want
kind
Amy on
you
or
want your
any.
food showing up at the right spot at the right time when yeah.
Yeah,
So,
That's
yeah, I
true.
wouldn't attempt to
it would
do
be
that
cool, but
without somebody like that.
yeah,
So you
I
could
would.
reverse engineer a bucket list by just like listing all the things you've never done. Yeah, like
Hmm.
I've never scuba dived. I've never skydived.
Mm.
I've never ridden in a helicopter. You know how you
Oh,
can do those
I have.
tours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Thanks to our friend Eric.
Eric.
Oh.
Hey,
What have you never done? Like, is there anything you've never done?
there are so
But
many
gosh,
things I've
plenty of
never
things.
done.
Yeah.
I've never done anything.
Hmm.
Bungee jumping.
Oh, Kelly
yeah.
made me, our friend Kelly made me fall backwards off a platform. She made me made me. She didn't make me do anything. I chose to accompany her and her family to one of those adventure places, something I would never ever do on my own. But we did the zip lining and jumping off these platforms. I'm like, oh my God. I would just like to say, I will never do that again, ever. Falling off something backwards, like
That sounds
into,
scary.
oh my God, I would never do that on my own. Only peer pressure would get me to do something like that.
We
I
went
say
Yeah.
I've been ziplining several times, and I really think
Yeah.
it's fun.
Mm.
We went whitewater rafting for Michelle's birthday.
Oh, that's
Oh,
something
yeah.
I've never done. So see, that could go
Yeah.
on my bucket list. I've never whitewater rafted.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
kind of fun. Mm.
Yeah.
That was my 60th.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is kind of like that game Never Have I Ever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Oh, that could go so
Yikes.
so
So bad.
wrong.
We're not
Mm.
taking it there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never have I ever.
Mm.
Oh,
see.
things. I think that's the
Yeah.
other thing too, like, and this is kind of a warning to myself and whoever else is listening. I feel myself censoring myself so much more now. Like, as soon as I have the thought, I have the counter thought, like, you can't do that, or, oh, that would be way too dangerous, or you're too old, or, and so, it's interesting when you're conscious of your thoughts. Like I actually have the thought and then consciously know I'm having the other thought, and also am aware enough to know, oh, you are doing that. Like, do you know what I mean? It
So
gets
that's
really
like limiting.
complicated in there. Yeah.
That's like limiting beliefs, like your
Totally.
little,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
telling you
Yeah.
stories
Yeah,
that
that's
Yeah.
true.
aren't true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I see, who was it? I don't know if it was one of you guys that we were talking about how, Amy, maybe it was you, and we were talking about how you get older and the messages you get from like AARP and
Oh,
whatever.
yes, because you
Yeah.
said about picking up your rugs.
Yeah, I'm like,
Or like
yeah, I'm not
I'm
like,
like, seriously?
right?
Picking up your rugs. Wait,
Right.
wait,
So
explain.
after, once you get over the age of things to do after you're at 60 or something, you want to get rid of those rugs so you don't trip and fall. And I'm like,
Oh, just because you're
really?
60?
Yeah, I'm like, at
Yeah.
60, are you sure? Like, I don't feel like that. I don't know.
They
But
obviously
think about
haven't
that.
taken Chip Conley's courses.
No. But if you think about that, like how the culture actually makes your like window of opportunity, like it just starts closing it on you, right? And so no wonder, what is the stat? I think it's like once you retire, like the average when you retire, people are spending 40 plus hours a week in front of the television.
40?
Ooh,
40. It's like you replace your work
your job.
job
That's a lot.
with television or screens, or I think it was screens, because I don't know, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, so it's
Well,
an
but then
interesting thing.
if you think about it though, if you look around and look for this,
Mm.
wasn't there like a woman or maybe it was a man who did skydiving when they were for the first time ever when they were like in their 80s or
Oh, sure,
90s?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah,
didn't,
and then
George Bush, they made a big
Yes,
thing out of it, like, for his,
yes,
oh,
like, 89th
yeah,
birthday I
yeah,
can't even remember
yeah,
what it was.
and then who's the famous actor that was in Star Trek? What's
William
his name?
Shatner.
Yes, William
Yeah,
Shatner went in a spaceship or whatever.
yeah,
He went up in space.
He was
yeah,
in
I
Star
mean,
Trek.
yeah.
yeah, well, that's true,
Of
but he
course
went
he's
in a
gonna
real
go
life
with.
spaceship when he was like in
Real
his 80s.
life.
So, I mean, yes and no to that is what I
Yeah,
say.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's,
No, I'm looking.
and
I'm
I think
curious.
we do it too. I think I definitely was guilty of doing that a little bit to my mom as she was aging, like in the interest of keeping her safe, right?
Hmm.
Right? Eh, Which, thinking back on it, I'm like, oh, that was a little selfish, right? Like, I'm just trying to make sure nothing happens so I don't have to deal with something once it happens.
Yeah.
So, all the caregivers out there listening totally get it. Like, you're trying to manage all the things so you're not dealing with
Yeah.
some catastrophe down the road. And I also am aware that I made her space smaller by doing that, right? I
Mm,
probably made her more fearful by being like, "Oh, you're gonna hurt yourself," or, "Don't do that," or, So, I think that's an interesting thing too. Like, once you start to not do things because you think you're not safe, right?
yeah.
Like, you're gonna get hurt
You're gonna
or
break a hip.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the thing you hear, right? You break a hip, it's all,
All
um,
downhill from there. Although they have
right?
really good replacement stuff now, like
They do.
titanium.
Yeah.
Get a new one. It's all
Get a
good.
new hip, a new knee, you're good to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, rock
You can
on.
hike the Appalachian Trail all year.
There you
Yeah.
go. So I think that's part of it too, right? In our depending on what your safety, where you are on that scale. Like if you're somebody who's always been a little risk averse or being safe and secure is your default, that I think probably gets worse as you age,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you really have to override it if, and to do that, you have to be aware of it. Like how many people have this kind of conversation?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Really,
true.
you
Well,
know?
and also like I think some of it is how you take care of yourself as you
Mm-hmm.
age.
We
I mean
are
like
gonna have
Amy,
one of those
Miss Amy
conversations.
over here is going to be doing great because she's building muscle and she's building bone and she's taking care of her body, and a lot of people don't. I mean, including me. I don't do enough weight bearing exercise. I know I don't, but it's like I'm not making myself do it. I probably don't do enough cardio. Um, I do some things. I do some yoga and things that I feel help with longevity and aging. But like you can do that when you're older too. And that's the other thing. I keep telling myself like
Yep.
maybe when I retire, I'll be the lady that, says, I'm going to go lift weights or like run a marathon or something crazy.
With my funky
Yeah.
left foot.
Yeah. With my funky left foot. Forget it. It's fine. There's no bone spur in there. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Michelle. I can totally validate that.
I am, and Amy knows this. I finally was like, okay, I need to lift some weights and do some strength training because, we talk about it, we know about it, and I'm like, I clearly need to just do it. So I started working with a trainer, and she is, she's so fun. She's I think in her 30s, and she just laughs at me. She's like, "Oh my God," because I'll be like, "I hate." She's like, "Isn't that great? Look at you. I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm like, nope, it sucks. All of it sucks. I hate it." And she just was like, "Okay." I'm like, "And I'm gonna keep coming because I don't wanna, like I
Break a hip.
yeah, you don't wanna be the person what is it? Like once you're frail, then
Mm,
that's the problem. So if you have balance and strength, like if you can lift things up and put them down and not fall down when you're on one foot, I think that's a good first step.
maybe that
Like,
should be on the bucket list.
yeah,
Yeah.
My bucket list is I want to be able to stand on one leg and put my shoes on.
there
That's
you go.
my,
Oh, I can't wait. So we've talked about doing an episode on longevity.
oh
We
But we
yeah,
don't
really
that
have
need
is
to do
coming.
that. Yes.
we
That's
don't have it
perfect to
scheduled yet.
follow this up with. But yeah,
But I
maybe.
cannot wait for that because there is this I have my Faithfully Fit ladies do this
Mm.
on a fairly regular basis. I think and some of them are better about practicing at home too, but it's called the old man test, and it basically is like where you have to put your shoes and socks on without putting your other foot down. So like your shoes and socks
Yes.
are laying on the ground and you pick up one foot, put your sock on, put your shoe on, tie your shoe, put that foot down and then do it.
That's
And I'm like,
hard.
It is way
yeah,
harder than so
I've
anybody
tried.
listening, give that a
yeah.
shot.
Put
It
that
is
on
way
your
harder
bucket
than you would
list
think.
and
It's but
dunk that in your bucket.
yeah,
Yeah.
we do that on, on occasion.
Bucket list
But yeah,
item.
this is definitely like getting more into the longevity stuff. But like I love that stuff. And I just I haven't ordered them yet, but I have on the list to get those those inflatable discs like that you can stand on and
Uh,
stuff for
For
balance. I
balance.
can't wait to get them for
Those
my
are cool. I've
ladies.
seen those.
yeah,
Yeah.
when
Well,
I
and
was
I
doing PT, they made when I had
Mhm.
the hardware taken out of my leg, and I had to go to PT, she made me stand on yeah. I'm like, "Oh yeah, this just is not fun."
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
well,
doesn't
I
get any
mean
better if
that's
you don't do anything about it.
true.
well
Yeah.
true. And like it's a
Lara. Oh,
Oh,
true.
true.
Damn it, Amy.
dang it.
I hate that
Yeah,
when
but
you're right. Ugh.
well, Deepak Chopra is my favorite. Who he's
Mhm.
like, I think he's also in his 80s, but he has
Really?
this. I think he is in his
Oh wow.
80s. So he has a thing where you sit on the floor
Interesting.
and you get up without touching the
Mm,
floor with
Yes,
your
yeah.
hands.
that's a big
And
one.
he does it daily, and like that's a big deal. And so I've started doing that where I'm like making sure that when because I do get up and down off the floor a lot, I make sure I never use my hands on the floor. Like I just
Yeah.
try to consciously not, because I'm trying to get better at that. But you hear stories about I know, not to go on the longevity, but
I know. I feel like we've
Yeah,
I
don't.
know,
derailed.
Yeah.
but
This
in
is
a
the
way,
teaser for that
just
episode.
a
Yeah.
teaser, but it does go back to the bucket list when you think about, like, I just think there are so many stories of people in their upper lifespan, second half or last quarter, where they do things that they never did before, maybe never even did throughout their life, like whether it's working out or doing yoga or running a marathon or jumping out of a plane. Like the
Mhm.
bucket list stuff, in a way, becomes more doable, like when you're retired.
It
Because
does.
you have the time and maybe you have the motivation, because you're not pulled in 85 different directions like you are when you're younger. I don't know.
So
It's my
Deepak
theory.
Chopra was born in 46, so that would make
Oh,
him 79,
Oh,
78,
so he's
79.
oh,
almost to 80.
Yeah.
Sorry, Deepak.
yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
he looks or acts 80. I was just saying,
No.
I know he's up there,
No.
and yeah. Hope he
Have you
doesn't
guess?
listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
know.
he's
I'm sure he's
he's
tuning
paying
in
attention.
every week.
He's like, oh my God.
Um, I think Michelle and I may have talked about this, but have you guys heard of the book? It's called Gnar Country. It's Gnar. It's by Stephen
Gnar.
Kotler. I've definitely talked about him on here before. But that book itself, I will say, is not amazing, it, unless you're a skier.
Don't read it.
Yeah, don't. Um, so but basically he talks about like the whole point of it is like his research. He's big into like the flow state where you like get into doing something and you as an athlete and get into the flow state. So he actually took on like downhill skiing, and his training partner was like in his 30s and he's, I don't know, mid to upper 50s maybe. But it was just interesting. Again, not my favorite book, but the overall message was kind of cool that like, look, you can do this. Yes, it will scare the bejesus out of you. Um, and yes, you have a higher chance of getting hurt than,
Mm.
um, or I shouldn't say you have a higher chance of getting hurt, but yes, you may get hurt and it will probably take you longer to heal than your 25-year-old training partner. But like you can do it if you put in the work, and you can do scary stuff. And he's the one, I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, but I have a sign that hangs on my office door that says kick ass till you kick the bucket. That's like
That's a good one.
his whole thing. So bucket list, yeah. So kick ass
Mm.
till you kick the bucket.
Right? That's another look. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. Kick ass.
Yeah. That's
Kick the
Yeah.
bucket.
fantastic. Kick the bucket. Yeah.
Mm.
But it definitely is, it's interesting, just to hear his perspective on the whole thing. Again, not an amazing book. It's not but it's a lot of skiing. It's all about skiing. So I guess if you're a
Wow.
skier, but the overall premise of it is pretty good.
So funny. Skiing. So since you mentioned skiing and we're talking about bucket lists, skiing was always something that was on my bucket list, right? Because I grew up like where people ski, like it's a thing, like everybody skis. And I could afford like one thing. So I had the horses and didn't do all the other things. And so I was just talking to my friend like for that I've known since I was little, and she's from the South. She married a guy I went to high school with, and so when they first got married, they lived up here in the Adirondacks. And so we decided that we should learn how to ski, right? And I was just talking to her today, and she's like, "Do you remember when we went and tried to learn how to ski there's this little mountain near us?" And oh my God, so we were both like, "Yeah, that is something we just will never do again." Like, and I remember that because we were in our, I don't know how old we were. I wasn't married yet, so maybe late 20s, early 30s. I can't remember. But here we are, these two like adults, older women on this little bunny hill with this very patient ski instructor. Oh my gosh. It was, yeah. So I could check that off my bucket list. I did go skiing. Yep,
Yeah, I
done.
skied in high school, so
Woo.
I had that on my bucket list, and then I skied in as an adult later, and I lost a ring when I did that. It was like a high school like
Oh,
gift. It was like an opal. I have the ring. The opal popped out, so I was like, "Dang it! I
Yeah.
shouldn't have gone skiing as an
yeah.
adult because I crashed." But
I did
it was
have
fun. It
cross
was
country
fun.
skiing on my bucket list, and my
Oh,
husband Bill did teach me how to cross
sweet.
country ski, so I liked that better. I'm not great
Yeah,
with
I did that once.
hills.
I didn't like it. I like downhill better because
Yeah.
it's a lot more work to do cross
It is
country.
a lot more work, but, I'm a big scaredy cat, right? So the risk and the speed of, like, downhill scares me more, like, I'd rather work harder and feel safer than, like I think that's why I like snowshoeing too, like, that I
Oh,
can do because I feel a little more in control. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
you're just
not great
walking
at
through the snow. No
it's
offense,
different,
but
it's different. No, it's different.
is it scary?
It's,
Michelle's like, no, Lara, it's scary.
no,
I
no.
have no idea what it's like to be honest, but I
Oh,
I mean
snowshoeing?
in my mind I feel like you're just walking through the snow with
On
Well,
big
really big
different.
shoes.
Yeah. So no, that snowshoeing's not bad. It's not scary.
Oh, okay.
Cross country
Oh, okay,
skiing,
what about water skiing? I've never done that. I've
I've
always
water
been
skied.
curious.
I've never water skied. Yeah, I
Me
Water
don't like
skied,
neither.
wakeboarded,
speed.
It
Yeah, I
looks
don't know.
hard. Getting up on the skis is what the
jet
part.
Mhm.
ski.
I grew up
Mm.
with a lot of people that we had some big lakes kind of near where I lived, and
Mhm.
I never went, but I had friends that went and they did it, and it looked so easy. I don't think
Mm.
it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Oh, well, this
There's
has
like
been fun.
not,
There's a
yeah.
lot of things I haven't done though. That's the only. I mean, not that it matters because I don't feel compelled to, but bucket list wise, it does make me realize there's a lot of stuff that I
You
haven't
haven't done,
done.
right? Yeah.
Surfing. I've never
Yeah.
surfed.
Oh,
Oh,
I've
so if
never
you go to
surfed.
Baja to that like
Yeah, to that retreat
place,
they
they
teach
that
you.
surfing's a big deal, yeah.
Maybe we should look into this Baja retreat. It's
Yeah.
sounding
It's this
better and better.
Baja thing.
Go check
The
it out. It really it's
modern Elder
beautiful, Lara.
Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the modern,
Oh,
Baja. It's beautiful. It is definitely right up your alley, Lara, like your
nice.
whole beach vibe. Like, yeah,
Yeah, missing that
Hmm.
yeah.
right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yay.
Now I want to go
Well,
dig out my old bucket list and see what else on there.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
I
go.
think maybe if you dig it out, we could put it in the just not the we'll post it on social media.
Yeah. What else on
Screenshot it, or we'll just write it. We'll just take the top 3 or whatever and put them
there? Yeah.
in the
I'm gonna have to go
social media.
dig it out. It's probably on one of my external hard drives around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Amy's so
Which
good.
are filed and alphabetically like
Yeah,
filed away in her cabinets,
yeah.
I'm sure.
We
Okay.
love you, Amy. We
You
love
guys.
Yes,
that
we
about you.
do.
Thank
We
God
do.
thank God. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I know.
thank God
Yeah.
for that. Because seriously, like, yeah.
Without you folks, like, I don't know. The rest of
Yeah.
us be a bit of a mess.
You know, I have always wanted to ride a bull, like a real one.
Oh,
But this is my caveat to the whole thing. I want to ride a bull, but I want to have some sort of thing like attached to me so that when I get bucked off, it like sucks me up in the air because I don't want the bull to
brilliant.
get me afterwards. Like I'm
That's a
not
brilliant
worried.
idea.
Yeah, I'm not worried about getting like bucked off. I'm not worried about like getting on the bull and getting bucked off and stuff. I'm worried about it getting me like afterwards
Goring
on the
you.
ground. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't want
That's
to
a
be
very
gored.
valid fear, Amy.
It is a very valid fear.
Okay,
Yeah.
you
So
should
that's
open up a bull riding school where they have like a bungee cord attached to your body, and when they buck you off, it pulls you up. I think
I'm
that's a
sure it would
brilliant
like
training tool.
hang around your neck or anything. I'm sure it's perfectly safe. And then on the other end, I was just thinking as you guys were talking, is I kind of want to learn to play the piano.
Oh,
But
I get that. That's sort of on my list because I did learn to play the piano when I was young, and
yeah,
it's
I just
not something
took
that comes
lessons.
back to you.
Mm.
It's not. Like they say,
We
it's
don't
not
get
like
to,
riding a
It's
bike.
not like riding a bike.
No, it is not because I took piano lessons for 4 years when I was younger. and I cannot play the piano. I mean, I can pick out a tune, but I would love to go back and relearn.
I played the guitar.
How do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I learned how to
Ah.
play it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
my sister is super musical. She writes music. She sings. She's so talented, and her husband is too. He is in his 50s. He is taking piano lessons, and he can play lots of instruments, but he never learned piano. But he's doing that now in his 50s.
I want to learn another language. That's on my list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, we do have bucket lists. I want to learn Italian because I'm.
Are you gonna
depends-
go? Are you go? Yeah.
I'm blessed to be
Yeah.
co-teaching a
When you
yoga
go.
retreat in Italy this
You
fall.
best be getting learning, girl.
So I need to start like a in the car kind of thing where I can learn some Italian. I mean, I'm not going to know, probably not going to learn fluent, but I would like to learn some phrases.
Phrases
Like
and
Is Rosetta Stone even still exist?
it is.
I don't
Yep,
know.
it's
It
still a
probably
thing.
is.
Yes,
Or Babbel.
I hear them.
Isn't there one called Babbel now?
Oh yeah.
Rosetta Stone's still there, and oh crap, what's the other one? There's another one, but now with Google Translate and all of that,
I know, but
life's a
I
lot
think
easier.
but that's sort of cheating. Like I kind of want to know
It's
how
all
to say
about
some
cheating.
things. Like I would like to know
Make
how to
it my
say.
food ordered and
Make-
tells me where the bathroom is.
right?
I would
That's all I need.
order another glass of wine, or please send that drink to that handsome man at the bar.
Phrases that you
I don't
need.
know.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
important phrases like that.
Yeah, I definitely, when I was talking to my friend who's in South America that I want to go see, she's like, yeah, it would be, go learn some Spanish. That would be super helpful, when you're traveling and just, yeah.
Oh.
She recommended I should go look and see what she recommended.
Yeah, see what you recommended. Maybe we should challenge each other, Michelle, to learn some languages.
Yeah.
None of our I feel like we've challenged each other on a
Whenever
whole
we
lot of
never
things.
do it. Yeah.
We've never done it. Yeah.
We should make a bucket list of our challenges.
Yeah,
is
no
what we
kidding.
should
We need to
do.
go back and listen to all of our old episodes. Be like, we're gonna do this. No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that.
Challenge you to this.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Well,
did put
Michelle,
purple in my
she
hair,
did
but it's
color.
on.
You
I
did put
did,
purple
but
in your hair.
yeah.
You did go get fitted for running shoes, walking shoes.
I did. Yes. Yep. I did.
Why is it like we've challenged Michelle, but we're not doing anything?
She needs the most help.
I
No.
do need the most help. It's true because I won't. Obviously, peer
like
pressure works for me, and that is the only thing. Like, I don't want to let you guys down, but that's like it. Like on my own, I'm so not doing it. Like, okay, sounds great, all
When can
good.
we challenge Michelle too?
Yeah.
All right, you just stop that.
All right, well, I'm going to look into one of those language things, but if you find one, let me know because I do need to learn some Italian. I took Spanish in high school.
She recommended, and I'm Googling it now, and he does do Italian. His name is Paul, like Paul, Noble, Noble. So that was, she
Do
said
you like
that.
sign up for coaching, or does he have like programs?
Nope, it's learn. Yeah, you just pick your thing.
Yeah.
Is it a recording? Like
It came up
what
on
format?
Shows up at your house.
it came up on. It's the classic.
So I'm like, does he come over? What's the deal?
I wish. Hi,
Tap,
Paul.
tap, tap.
No, no. It's like a whole course.
Okay.
We crack each other up.
You guys, so
We're
ridiculous.
cracking ourselves up now.
Killing me.
Your pillow?
Knock, knock. S'il vous plaît?
Google him, Lara, and you can, yeah.
Paul Noble. Got it. I'm writing
He's
it down.
got all this stuff. All this stuff.
You know your phone just heard you say that, so he is going to show up at your
He is
door
gonna
now.
Everything,
show up.
yeah.
Thanks, Google.
This looks old school. This is like CDs.
Oh, I don't even have a CD
Well, that's
player.
what Rosetta Stone was, wasn't
came
it?
up on eBay. So let me
Oh,
see.
wow. Yeah, not
He's been around
Sorry,
for a
Paul.
while.
Or Amazon. Learn Spanish with Paul Noble.
unless Paul's showing up at my door, it's not happening.
Is
Yeah.
Paul
Here we
cute?
go.
What does Paul look like?
Your personal language
Hey,
coach.
Google.
Oh my gosh, I think I need to go to bed.
I can
See,
get it as
personal
an
language
audiobook.
coach.
I can get it as an audiobook. So
There
it
you
can
go.
on your Audible.
Oh.
Yeah, learn
right, so
Spanish.
We'll
Yeah, go check
challenge each
that out.
other. Let's each learn one phrase by the time we do another podcast. One phrase is all between now and then.
Oh, that should be.
One phrase in any
Can you
language?
do it? No, whatever our chosen language is.
So I want to do
Learn
Spanish. Let me
Russian.
see.
Any language.
Oh.
I'm doing Italian. Michelle's doing Spanish. What are you going to pick, Aim?
I don't know.
Greek?
I think
How
the
about
most-
Turks and Caicos? What do they speak there?
Yeah, what do they speak there? Hang on.
I don't know.
They
Well,
speak
let's Google
beach. They speak happiness, joy, and beach. I
it.
guarantee that.
But it's probably like English. I don't know.
It could be.
Hang
It
on.
could be like,
They
is
speak
it
American
owned by
there.
Britain? I feel like it's a British owned place. I don't know why. Can you learn how to speak British? Come on.
The phrase is gonna be like, "Do you have any grape poupon?"
You guys are terrible. Oh, the official language. No fair. The official language of Turks and Caicos is English. No,
Oh,
that's
I
not
knew
you.
it. It's
No.
probably
I'm
British
studying for
too.
that trip.
Yeah. Some of the most common secondary languages used on the islands are Spanish, French, and Italian.
Ooh.
Hmm.
So we
Took
can.
French.
You need to learn French. That way, we
Oh.
can all three go, and each of us can speak one of the languages that they have there.
I took
There you go.
4 years of French. I took 2 years in high school and 2 years in
Oh.
college.
Oh,
I
stop it.
Can't speak a word.
can't speak anything. No. Je
Mm,
m'appelle Amy.
Oh, I know
m'appelle
that one
Michelle.
because I took one
Yeah.
in college. Je m'appelle Lara.
It has
And
not
je
done
t'aime.
me.
Je t'aime means I
Yeah.
love you.
Can you
Yeah.
swear in do you have any swear words? So my mom
No.
was
Mère.
French Canadian, so my grandparents spoke French. So I can call you I think it's a damn pig if you'd like. Moutzi cochon. A pig is cochon. Yep. I learned so my accent is not bad in French because I
Doesn't
heard
sound bad.
all my relatives speak because my mom spoke French to her mom and all of that. But I learned my uncles were a really bad influence and
Oh, I bet.
they
Wait,
taught
what
us
was that again? You damn pig?
Moutzi cochon.
It was
Carton.
damn pig? Is that what that
Yeah, I
translated
think
to?
that's right. Moutzi.
That's kind of mean.
I,
It is. Let me tell you, I had a mean family.
I like
My
your accent though.
uncles
You did
were
good.
horrible.
the
Moutzi.
only like full phrase I know in French I feel like is and my husband would not appreciate me saying this to someone on a
Voulez-vous
trip is
Uh-oh.
voulez-vous coucher avec
coucher?
moi?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Voulez-vous?
That was a song too.
Yeah, it was a song, and I always try to sing it, and I don't get it right when I sing it.
Voulez-vous coucher avec
Mm.
moi ce
Ce
soir?
soir.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we got that in the good timing. How come we can't do monkey chatter?
Oh, I guess
Speaking of,
should we
we
wrap
gotta
it up?
wrap this
Yeah,
thing
we
up.
need to
Yeah,
wrap this
time
up.
to
This
go.
has gone really horribly off the rails.
It's time to peace
Okay.
out.
For
Okay.
bucket list.
Ready?
All right, who's gonna count us down?
Come on,
We
Amy.
should just maybe if we
Count us
sing
down.
I know. 1, 2, 3.
Three.
Monkey
Monkey
chatter,
chatter,
monkey
monkey
chatter,
chatter.
who
Who are
handles
you and who
matters?
matters?
Oh, Michelle and I think we're kind of in together there.
I thought I was more together with Amy, but who knows?
Oh,
We'll see.
I guess we'll see
We'll
what it
see.
sounds like when we actually listen to the recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's over.
Thanks for listening to Monkey Chatter today. As a reminder, we want to let you know that while we think we are really smart, none of us are doctors or medical professionals. So anything that we say or suggest on this podcast should be run by your doctor before you make any major lifestyle, nutrition, or medication changes. Take care and be well, friends.